When it comes to paying for college, there are a few mistakes that many families get sucked into. And if your family gets sucked into this, it could cost you tens of thousands of dollars or add tens of thousands of dollars to the amount that your student has to borrow to pay for college. Now, we don't want that for anyone. So in this video, I'm going to cover exactly what you want to avoid when it comes to paying for college. Now, it doesn't matter if your student is in high school or even already in college. I have some suggestions for you. Now, we had one family that found us after the fact, but they actually learned too late that they made one of these mistakes, and it actually cost them over $17,000 per school year, which equals $68,000 over the 4 years that their daughter is in college. So with that, let's go ahead and jump in. Hello, my name is Jocelyn Pearson. I'm the founder of the Scholarship System and Debt Free Degree Lab, our two programs where we focus on helping thousands of families across the country pay for college with as little debt as possible. Now, all of this comes from my own experience of securing 6 figures in scholarships, over $126,000, and actually getting to where I got an overage check every single semester. Now, I don't tell you this to say, woohoo, look at me. I tell you this to show you that it's possible. In fact, we've helped thousands of families over the years as well. Some families have actually used our strategies to do even better than I did when it comes to paying for college. So I want that for you. Now, these 3 mistakes can make a huge difference when it comes to paying for college. So the first one that a lot of families get sucked into is not submitting FAFSA. So FAFSA, F-A-F-S-A, is a federal application where your student applies for federal student aid. Now, this may lead to grants, which are debt-free money. They don't have to be paid back. It may lead to work study, which is money that they receive in exchange for work, or it can lead to student loans. Now, if you want more detail about what kind of money students can access through FAFSA and the FAFSA process, we can link to those videos in the description. But for now, understand that every family should submit FAFSA. Here's just one quick story that I shared a little bit of earlier. So we had one family that found us after the fact, which kills me, but they actually were told by a coworker, you make too much money, don't submit FAFSA, don't waste your time. However, when freshman year came in to play, they went into the office and said, hey, we're struggling to pay this, what can we do? And when they pulled up their file, the school saw, wait a minute, you never even submitted FAFSA. That ties the school's hands. They can only do so much when they don't have FAFSA. And in this situation, your student is considered for money when they are applying into the university, but some universities will not, once they miss that first opportunity to submit FAFSA and get money from the university, that's it. They can't do it in later years. So submitting FAFSA is huge. Now, this family specifically, they listened to their friend, unfortunately, their coworker, and they didn't submit it. And the school said, had you have submitted it based on this information, your daughter would have received $17,000 a school year from us. So that cost their family $68,000 over 4 years. Now, not to get a little nerdy, but I looked it up. If they had invested it, now of course I didn't share this with them, but it's a great lesson for us. If they had invested it in a retirement account in 20 years, that could have been worth $250,000 at a pretty average return. So in reality, this actually technically cost them maybe $250,000 that they have to pay to college that they wouldn't have. So that said, every family should submit FAFSA, even if it just gives you access to student loans that are better criteria than private loans, or it makes you eligible at least for college money and not necessarily money through the government. No matter what, every family should submit FAFSA. The second mistake that we often see is where families assume that their student would not be eligible for anything. So a lot of times I'll hear, well, my student isn't a head of football team, my student is not involved in a ton of stuff, they don't have a perfect GPA, I don't think they'd be eligible for any money. Now, I will tell you right now, I was actually an average student myself. I was the furthest thing from an athlete. Believe me, there's still painful jokes that come up during holiday dinners about my athletic skills or lack thereof. But ultimately, your student does not have to be a superstar in order to be eligible for money or to find creative ways to save when it comes to paying for college. So just assuming that your student isn't eligible can knock you out of so many opportunities. In fact, we're working on a separate video, which I'll eventually link to below, about how the average families can work their way to a debt-free degree. But the biggest thing I want you to take from this right now is that there are so many strategies, different strategies that you can compile to work towards a debt-free degree. In fact, for me, my free ride wasn't one big win. My university only offered me $2,000, I believe, a school year or a semester. I can't remember. Either way, it was nowhere near paid for. And instead, I had to combine a bunch of different strategies to get to that free ride. Now, scholarships was a huge piece of that, but there were lots of other combination of strategies that helped. Now, that gets me into my third and final mistake that I often see, and this is where families do not apply for scholarships outside of basically spring semester senior year. I always crack a joke that there's a school year missing between junior year in high school and senior year in high school. So when I speak to families that have juniors in high school, a lot of times they say, yeah, maybe it's a little early, we'll start scholarships in the future. And then when I talk to senior families, they are freaking out and they're saying, oh my gosh, why did we wait? We have so much to do, I'm overwhelmed, help us, please, give us steps right now. And I always joke, I'm like, wait a minute, where was the school year in between where families thought it was a good time to work on this? So that said, I have a whole separate video on scholarship season, scholarship timing, when to apply to have the least competition. I'll link to that below. But the biggest thing I want to say here is have your students start early. It's never too early, even junior year, sophomore year in high school. But then the biggest thing here is to keep on applying. When it came to myself getting my free ride, and so many families, even families that have found us after they already got to college, like this family that I spoke about earlier, we stress the importance of continuing to apply every single year throughout college. My last check that I cashed was on my way home from college graduation. So it is possible to get money early. It is possible to get money every year throughout college. In fact, I got more and more money every single year. So do not think that once your student graduates from high school, it's game over. We have no other options. That's simply not true. In fact, sometimes it's even easier to get money once we're already in college. So again, never too early, never too late. Now I want you to comment below because maybe I missed some sort of belief as to why your students, you don't think that they can get money for college. Comment below and say why you think they're not getting any money or why you think that they can't get a free ride to college. Comment below with something like a question you have on that or a doubt that you have on that. I'll be watching the comments, I'll reply back, but also I can go ahead and use that and create the next video to help you and answer your questions. So put a comment below. Also, I do have in the description not only the links to the other videos I mentioned, but also to a free training where I talk about a few more myths that a lot of students and parents fall for. But also I'll show you exactly where to find the scholarship. So when we're talking about hitting the ground running and not wasting time, this free training will get you absolutely jump started. So I include a link in the description. Make sure you register for that and start finding that list of legitimate scholarships. Now, if you enjoyed this, please click the thumbs up button, click the subscribe button so that you don't miss future videos on how to pay for college. I will see you in the next video.